Welcome back to another exciting, fun-filled, thrill ride-seeking, adventurous episode of This is Talking Sci-Fi with your host and co-host, Sci-fi Sean and
Just Randy.
Welcome back. This week's episode, we're going to focus on a movie that I think is completely underrated.
And go on.
What?
I forgot what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought.
You always lose everything.
Because you said it's completely underrated.
I think it's underrated.
And
I think it's a fantastic movie.
Man, I'm a little opposite of you.
Really?
On that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get into that, and I know why you're going to think it's opposite. So, we're talking about this movie right here, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, starring the world famous, the person I was named after, Sean Connery. Yeah. Who plays Alan Quartermain, was a great explorer. Do you even know who Alan Quartermain is?
He was on General Hospital from 1986 to like 94.
No, he was not.
Yeah, he was, Alan Quartermain.
No, he is a legendary explorer in literature.
Yes, I know who he is. And there's a movie out, because there's an Alan Quartermain on.
Don't watch that Alan Quartermain movie, it sucks.
Really?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Oh.
Alan Quartermain would be like, the best way I could put it is Indiana Jones.
Right. And I've heard from 2 or 3 different people that I need to watch it, because when they found out I loved Indiana Jones and never seen.
Yes. It was based on a lot of that.
But they're saying I need to watch them, that they're good.
Then watch it. I'm not, but you go ahead.
You don't like them?
I watched them a long time ago when they first came out, and I was not a big fan.
Oh, okay.
But you might like them.
Yeah, I probably will.
Randy, it's a lot of talking.
Oh, fuck.
Yep. That's all right. We're not cussing anymore in the show. Maybe. Well, we're adults. We'll see. Anyway, this movie is based back in the 1900s, early 1900s, and it's all based on literary characters, book people, which you don't read, and I don't read, so I like movies.
But we've heard the stories.
Right. Yeah. You have, of course, we mentioned Alan Quartermain.
Right.
You have The Invisible Man.
Yeah.
You have Captain Nemo. Everybody knows who Captain Nemo is, but it's not the movie. They're not the movie versions of these people.
No, it's not the orange fish.
No, it's not the orange fish. You're talking about the Nautilus? RJ and Thomas that are watching this, wash his mouth out with soap next time you see him, because they're huge.
I know it.
Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea fans. Yeah. Anyway, no.
What Nemo the orange fish?
No, Nemo. Oh, I'm thinking you're talking about the Nautilus. You're talking about the damn Dorian, the fish with a gimp fin.
Yeah, there you go. That's who we're talking about, right?
No, the Nautilus is a submarine. It was in there.
Oh.
Nemo called it the Sword of the Sea, and it was a fantastic vessel. You have other characters in there like Dorian Gray. Did you even know who that was when you watched League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Dorian Gray, no.
He's a literary character that is immortal. He has a picture of himself as a young man, and it's got a curse on it, and he can't look upon it because he will lose his power to be immortal, and he disintegrates.
I didn't realize that's
because it's hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
So he is kind of the antagonist in this movie. It's very, and I hate saying this because I'll have hate mail and all this, but it's a very steampunk kind of a movie. It has kind of steampunk kind of technology in it. You have the...
That's my favorite part of the movie, even though I'm not a big fan of the movie.
Right.
Is the car, the 6-wheeled car.
Right.
It's kind of steampunkish.
Right.
The submarine. It's got all the trim.
Tank they run up on at the beginning.
Yep.
And all the technologies they're building all the stuff with. The main bad guy is Professor Moriarty, which brings in a Sherlock Holmes kind of a tie-in. Tom Sawyer is in it. He is an American agent sent from America. It's about the First World War. And he's going to get the whole world involved with it. So they're stealing all this technology. The Mrs. Dracula, Count Dracula's bride of Dracula. She's in it. She's a really good character.
But she's not a gentleman. But
no, and that was a big deal in the movie, allowing her on there. And of course, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde are in it. Yep. I thought they did a really good. It was like, think of this movie as, and I love this comparison, and maybe you'll get it too. But the Avengers.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have a Hulk. You have the Captain America type guy. You got the who else? The Black Widow kind of a character with the Count Dracula lady. The vampire lady's got us covered. I love that line.
Yeah.
You know? And Professor Moriarty, which is, any insert bad guy here, But I make an Avengers connection with it. I love the music in the movie. I love the storyline. What did you not like about it?
I can't tell you. All I know is that if I'm watching something and eventually I'm looking at my phone and just kind of peeping up at it, then I realize it didn't hold me. But
there was a lot of action in it.
I know, but when they got to the snow,
it slowed down.
It slowed down for me. But yeah, it's a pretty good movie. It's all right. I mean, I'm not going to not watch it ever again, like you.
About once a month, I watch that movie.
Do you really?
I mean, it's like one of those background movies that I put on because I love it. I think it's fantastic. Sean Connery, of course, does a fantastic job. All the actors do that are in there. A lot of them are a lot of unknown people. But it's it keeps my attention. Yeah. But I like older. That's my style of movie. You know, as you look and all that as well. So it's not. I can see where if you didn't know literary characters from reading, it would draw your attention. But I know these characters, though I don't read a lot of books and all that. I tried. Real quick story of Lori. Couple Christmases ago gave me a Tale of Two Cities, the book, the novelization.
Okay. And
it's a Star Trek kind of connection because in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, see how I bring Star Trek into everything, Mr. Spock gives Captain Kirk this book for his birthday, and he opened it because it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. And I've always wanted to read this book because I didn't know anything about it.
You made it through page 1.
I didn't even make it through the first chapter. And it's funny you're saying that because it was the most boring and confusing thing. I thought it had to do with the war and all this, but it is the French Revolution.
Yeah.
But it's not about that. It's about some guy that gets arrested, and it's the lawyer telling his story, which I thought was kind of crazy, And if you read a lot, and it's a Charles Dickens, and I've talked to some good friends of mine. My good friend Anna, I talked to her about it, and she goes. She'd put on a Facebook post, ironically, the week I was reading this book. I had to sit in the hospital a lot, so I just said I was going to start reading a book when someone was in the hospital. And I started reading it, and it bored me to death. I couldn't follow it because it's written in old world tongue with these and thous and all this, and they jump around a lot. And it's a thick novel. So she sent me this little abridged version of it on YouTube, and it was like not even a 20-minute video of like they had some little animation drawings on there. And it's this guy saying, "Okay, this is what happens in the book." It's like two guys talking about Sci-fi.
Right. That's what they give the 10-year-olds.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I still thought it was boring as shit, that's why I don't read older books. I want to read the original. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Alan Quatermain stories and Dorian Gray and all that, but they can't hold my attention because I'm a visual guy.
Yeah, me too.
That's why I'm more of a fan of our video blog on YouTube than I'm just listening. And I'm not telling you not to do either or; they're both fantastic. But I'd rather see what I'm doing, and talk about it. But so, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, it is. It's got a lot of action in it. It's got some funny stuff in it. There's some comedy, but you have to kind of know who Tom Sawyer is and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the Invisible Man, Captain Nemo, not the fish, or Mr. Limpet. Mr. Limpet is not in this. Have you seen?
I don't know who that is.
It's Don Knotts' most famous character. He turns into a fish because he wants to be a fish. He's a fish aquarium enthusiast, and he makes a wish and he turns into a fish, and that rhymed, and that's a crime. You never seen that?
No.
It was one of the very first movies where they had live action people and cartoon animated stuff in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Have
you ever seen any of the Don Knotts movies at all?
No.
Ghost of Mr. Chicken?
No.
Okay.
Never heard of it.
Apple Dumpling Gang? It's a Disney movie.
No. I have to.
Reluctant Astronaut.
We need to write this down. Who's Don Knotts?
Three's Company.
You talking about
Mr. Furley? Lived upstairs.
Three's Company.
Come and knock on my door.
Well, that sounds
familiar.
familiar.
We'll be waiting for you because it's hers and his Three's Company too. Never.
I've heard that, but I don't think I've ever watched it. Yeah.
I'm a television theme song enthusiast. God, we jump off target on this show
We
a
do.
lot. Don't we? There's just so much to talk about.
Let me see your pen. Who's Don Knotts?
Don Knotts, write that down. Who is Don Knotts?
All right, I got it.
I'm glad you're going to do some research on that. That's awesome.
No.
What would you rate it? League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I'd give it a 7.
No, you wouldn't. Give it lower. You said you hated it.
No, I didn't hate it. It's still good, and I love all the equipment in it. And
so we're in that library picking up Dorian Gray, and they get surrounded by Moriarty's men, and they're all shooting. And then all of a sudden, this other gun pops up, and he and Sean Connery looks up and he winks at him. Yep. I thought that was awesome. It was Tom Sawyer.
Yep.
Today's Tom Sawyer. Sorry.
No, you're right. That scene was fantastic, and the other scene where he realizes the Invisible Man's in the room with him,
and he grabs him and goes, "I want you to keep your makeup and your coat on this whole time."
Yeah, there were some good parts about it, and when they're driving through town trying to keep the explosion from knocking down, was that Sicily?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That was fantastic. That was fantastic.
They had all those bombs underneath the water, and it was a countdown, and they used the missile. A Polaris-type missile on an ancient submarine that shouldn't. That's how the Nautilus, the ship, is. That looks like was way before its time,
right?
Because it was powered by nuclear power. And they never said nuclear, but some sort of strange energy.
Yeah,
I'm a huge fan of stuff like that.
So, what do you give it?
10.
A 10. You give it a 10?
Yeah,
wow.
10. I think it's a highly underrated movie. It didn't do well at the box office. I had never heard about it, and it came out, and I saw some commercials for it. And I was at Walmart years ago, and I picked it up. And I love it. Laura and I watched it even before I knew we were doing this podcast a month or so ago. So I like it. I enjoyed the heck out of it. I like the action in it. I like the storylines. I like how they mislead you with the plot to think it's the Invisible Man doing all the stuff, and it wasn't.
Right.
So I thought it was great when we found out who M was.
Yeah.
And
of course Dorian was part of the bad plot.
Yep. He was actually the one working with Professor Moriarty during the whole thing. Watch it if you haven't. If you have watched it, watch it again. I recommend it. Like I said, I do give it a 10. I think it was great. I'll probably watch it this week again, just talking about it right now, because I enjoyed everything about it. So, well, that's about all the time we have for this show, and hope you enjoyed it and watched League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and Don Knotts movies, evidently.
Yes.
Don Knotts.
Don Knotts.
Do you know who Tim Conway is?
No.
Do you know who... I could do this all day, and it's just going to give me a big-ass headache. So just do your research. You're doing good. We will see you next time on This Is Talking Sci-Fi. Oh, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page.
That's right.
We would love to see you on there. Send us questions. We're going to be doing some questions. Probably the next episode or so, we might just throw some questions out there. But I'm Sci-Fi Sean, and this is...
Just Randy.
And we'll see you next time on This Is Talking Sci-Fi.
Welcome to Talking Sci-Fi. And your host and starring Sci-Fi Sean and Just Randy.